We are now live and very excited to celebrate World Music Day, which was on 21st June 2022. Now we are celebrating professionals from the corporate world who have been trained extensively in learning good music. So we begin tonight's celebration with Bharti Srinivasan. She is a trained Carnatic classical musician, and primarily she about her background, education background. She has been to IIT and she graduated in electrical engineering. She did her MS in electrical engineering from the US, and she has worked with Amazon for almost a decade. She is now a partner at Carney, one of the topmost global consulting firms. And we present her and her son, Navneet Vishisht Krishnan. So we'll begin with Navneet and then we will listen to Bharti's.
Thanks, Reshma. We'll just start with a small piece. It's a very small piece based in Carnatic music, dedicated to the goddess, and then we'll move on. Are you ready? Wow. Okay. Namaste Paradevate Devayavate Namaste 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 Paradevate Devayavate Kamasti Namaste Namaste Samasta Vishnu Muna Prakriti Samasta Vishnu Muna Prakriti Narhudayita Vritte Sangeeta Shastra Jiste Vimala Bhutpatte Vinoda Sara Sampatte Samasta Devarita Satchidananda Murte Namaste Paradevate Devayuvate Kamasti Namaste Namaste. Thank you. Reshma, can't hear you.
Yeah, I was unmute. Sorry. So I was saying it was a great start to tonight's celebration and very well sung, Navneet. You have a long way to go. God bless you. Continue your training. Yeah, very good, very good. So now we will begin with Bharti's presentation.
So I'll just sing a small piece, very famous from the movie Soja. The reason I chose this is one, it's definitely, I think it's a piece that both Hindi and Tamil audiences can resonate with. Though I will be singing primarily in Tamil, with this in Hindi, and also dedicated to the late S.P. Balasubramanian sir. There is a small humble attempt at that. Shall I go ahead?
Yes, Bharti.
Shall I go ahead, Reshma? Something you wanted to say?
Yes, yes. I think, Bharti, instead of earphone, can you sing directly? That way the sound will be better.
Is it audible now? Or you?
Yeah, it's not as loud as we did in the morning.
It's better?
Can you? Yes, much better.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Yeah, let's start.
Okay. காதல் ரோஜாவே எங்கே நீ எங்கே கண்ணீர் வழியுதடி கண்ணில் காதல் ரோஜாவே எங்கே நீ எங்கே கண்ணீர் வழியுதடி கண்ணில் கண்ணுக்குள் நீதான் கண்ணீரில் நீதான் கண்மூடி பார்த்தால் நெஞ்சுக்குள் நீதான் என்னானதோ ஏதானதோ சொல் சொல் ரோஜா जाने मन तू ही मेरा दिल तुझे बिन तरसे नैना आंखों में तू है आंसू में तू है आंखें बंद कर लो तो मन में भी तू है कहाँ है तू कैसी है तू रोजा தென்றல் என்னை தீண்டினால் சேலை தீண்டும் ஞாபகம் சின்ன பூக்கள் பார்க்கையில் தேகம் பார்த்த ஞாபகம் வள்ளியோடு பேசினால் சொன்ன வார்த்தை ஞாபகம் மேகம் ரெண்டும் சேர்க்கையில் மோகம் கொண்ட ஞாபகம் வாயில்லாமல் போனால் வார்த்தை இல்லை பெண்ணே நீ இல்லாமல் போனால் வாழ்க்கை இல்லை கண்ணே முள்ளோடுதான் முத்தங்களா சொல் சொல் வீசுகின்ற தென்றலே வேலையில்லை நின்று போ பேசுகின்ற வெண்ணிலா பெண்மையில்லை ஓய்ந்து போ பூ வளர்த்த தோட்டமே கூந்தலில்லை தேர்ந்து போ பூமி பார்க்கும் வானமே புள்ளியாக தேர்ந்து போ பாவை என்ன பாவை தேவை என்ன தேவை ஜீவன் போன பின்னே சேவை எல்லை சேவை உள்ளோடுதான் முத்தங்களா சொல் சொல் ரோஜா जाने मन तू ही मेरा दिल तुझ बिन तरसे नैना दिल से न जाती है यादें तुम्हारी कैसे तुम बिन जीना கண்ணுக்குள் நீதான் கண்ணீரில் நீதான் கண்மூடி பார்த்தால் நெஞ்சுக்குள் நீதான் என்னானதோ ஏதானதோ சொல் சொல் காதல் ரோஜாவே எங்கே நீ எங்கே கண்ணீர் வழியுதடி கண்ணில் Thank you.
That was a beautiful presentation, Bharti. So at the end of this, like your singing, we talk to the guests about your education in music. So would you like to say, share with our audience that so along with your academics, how did you manage to learn Carnatic classical music and reach this level and train yourself? So what was your routine like, daily schedule, if I can say so, growing up?
Well, I wouldn't say I had a very rigorous training in classical music that way. The way I have seen, first of all, I am not a musician that way because I've grown up in a family of musicians, and I know what that is to be a full-time 100% musician, and I know the kind of rigor and living and breathing that takes to be that kind of a musician, and hence I have a very good understanding of what it is to be a musician. And I know that the way I have seen, first of all, I am not a musician that way because I have grown up in a family of musicians, and I know what that is to be a full-time 100% musician, and I know the kind of rigor and living and breathing that takes to be that kind of a musician, and hence I would definitely say that I am definitely a music aficionado, a very, if you say, a wannabe musician at best. So that's what I would call myself according to that bar. But for me, since I was growing up in an atmosphere of music, it was, I would say, a lot of things came free of cost. Music was in the air, music was in the atmosphere, in the environment at all points of time almost in the day. My sister is definitely, she's like a, I mean, I don't think I should be qualifying her, but she's Sangeeta Kalanidhi Saumya, who is a very, very senior and immensely respected musician in the South and across India in Carnatic music. So, and hence I have seen her grow up and I know what that takes. So I can talk to that. If you want me to talk about what rigorous training should take, I can tell you what I have seen. But for me, I think what I have imbibed is probably that environment, that seriousness on music, uh, almost a worship of music and giving it that kind of an importance. I think, and I think the humility that it takes, fundamentally, that ultimately one is a student of music and one has to keep practicing, keep aspiring for further and further heights, keep studying whatever it takes, be it music or whatever one wants to do that with the right killer instinct and excellence. So that's what I can share, maybe at best. But yes, I have learned violin, and as part of violin lessons that I did take, uh, I think what that takes is at that time there was a period of time when I used to practice every day, 2 3 hours a day, kind of a thing. And weekends, when other children used to be very happy and thrilled and look forward to weekends, I used to dread it because it meant more hours of practice to get it right. And it's almost like, practice and play the same thing 10 times in a row. And if you get it wrong the 11th time, go back, reset the clock, and start. So that's the kind of rigor that is important. And I've seen that that's what work with many people that I've interacted with who are very senior and seasoned musicians.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for clarifying to make the distinction between full-time musicians and how you have learned. We appreciate that absolutely. So, and I have seen you in college. You took the leadership. You inspired us all to build the team, and that is one part definitely to bring about to culture and to nurture the music in any societal framework, be it a campus, be it in a community, be in a school or college. So it takes certain level of education and training to understand the value of music, which you have had in your school days. So that definitely adds value to our overall environment when people around you are positively impacted with your vision and with your mentorship. That is point number one. Next point I would like to ask you is, now you also have a son and he is training. So how do you train him, if you can share something? And also he seems so enthusiastic. So of course I understand the point that he's your son. So many of us will say he has your genes. That is absolutely agreed scientifically. But then you also have a full-time job, and as a mother and as a, music lover, how do you ensure that he gets the right kind of training and he gets to do the riyaz and practice? If you could share some insights for parents specifically. Yeah.
Well, so I think to your point, he has it in his genes. I think that works. That's definitely a tailwind that many of us are recipients to. So, like I said, my father used to be is a very seasoned musician in his own right. So I think that works. That tailwind helps. Having said that, one can't sit on that. I think what I do. So first of all, I am not trying to get him very intensely trained in music. I know that he carries the genes, and I hope in the genes there is more love of music, there is more
Yes.
passion for music than there is the technicality. The technicality will come in anything that one chooses to pursue, and the love is what will drive the choice to pursue. So I'm hoping that will happen, and hence I'm not trying very hard to push him into music. I do understand that it's hard to. And hence I'm more focused on him nurturing that love, and hence I don't force. Number one, I know one has to at some point of time. It's not all sweet and saccharine sweet, the years or practice. If it has to be done, one has to play hard taskmaster. One has to. I'm not doing that yet. I'm very good at that. I'm very a bad cop at that. So I'm not wearing that hat until I can delay it. Having said that, I know that he enjoys music. I can see that, I can sense that. I know that he will enjoy it going forward as well. So I would rather him come back full circle. What we do, small steps to encourage that are: number one, play music around him. And it's not just classical music or Carnatic music, but all kinds of music, and just play that and play that and play that. Because a very important thing that works in music, they call it Kalvi Jnanam in Tamil, which is more hearing by the ear, irrespective whether you're picking up a song or not. I think, at least personally for me, that is what has helped me pick up multiple instruments as well, just by hearing. It's fun, right? And the point you mentioned about me at college, I didn't do it because anyone asked me to do it. It was just more about just fun. I mean, you just can't do anything but music. That's my biggest form of fun. So that is something that I try to get him into by making him listen to different forms of music and sing. And we make it more like a game that we sing. We can have an antakshari where you can sing not just film and music song or other songs, but also include Carnatic music or classical music in it. It's okay. There's no taboo around that. So those are the small things. But having said that, training is important. All of these are very cute and nice to have and tailwinds, but they are only tailwinds. They're not the body. So one has to undergo training. And like I said, I told you the bar on training, for training's sake, whoever it is, claims to be a musician, whether as a profession or as an avocation or otherwise, I think one has to commit to that level of sincerities, training and all of that, and the passion. But so he learns music from my sister. I don't so directly. It's a very different kind of setting that it's almost like a Montessori approach to music. She also doesn't force him. She just sings, and it's like a fun thing that they do. So that's how it works. Currently, we'll see how it goes going forward. Hopefully, I will put him under some kind of instrument training as well, because I think that's a great complement to vocal music learning.
Yes, absolutely. And considering he's just 5 years old, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So at 5, I think this is kind of the best, in my opinion, scientific approach, that ear training, as you said. In fact, we also have had that sort of training only. My parents would simply play the mantra or some bhajans, and we would just listen to that. It's And like you said, secondly, since you have the training, even if you have the genes, there's the fact that you play it, you lead by example. I think that goes a long way. And yes, parents have to lead by example just by playing the music, and that goes into the consciousness of the child. Yeah, wonderful hearing from you, Bharti. And my last question for you is, so now you have almost like reached a very good peak in your professional journey. You are very successful, yet you have that passion to, at least nurture your music. You do a little bit of practice. How often do you practice? And if you could
Whenever
share
I
some.
feel like it. No, I sing, I mean, all the time, obviously, in one's own heart and in general, shower, whatever. I don't practice. I practice the violin, but I don't structure myself into this. I tried all that, but I think structuring into it takes away from the joy in it sometimes. And for those who know me, when I start structuring something and make it a project, I make it a big project. So I've taken a conscious learning to not do it. So no, I just do it whenever I feel like. Whenever it is, I just feel like singing, or whenever I feel like playing the violin, especially, it gives me a lot of peace and beyond peace, right? So I just genuinely immerse myself and I do it for the sake of doing it. That's the one absolute no expectations, no publicity, no nothing at all, no agenda thing that I do. So I love it. So I don't structure it. I do it very often, but whenever and almost always.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. So then I'll ask about, how often are your violin classes? Like, is it a once in a month or once in 2 months, or how's it?
So I used to learn the violin when I was very young, when I was in class 3 or 4. And at that time, it was very structured, very rigorous. I used to learn from Sri P.V. Subramaniam for a period of time. But after that came in academics and multiple other factors. And I was not in Chennai, which is the hub of Carnatic classical music, and I traveled outside as well. But several years later, when I used to live in the US for a few years. And at the time, I was so there's a huge hiatus, and I was not learning from someone. But at that time, I used to adore Shri late Sangeeta Kalanidhi Shri T. N. Krishnan sir's music and violin. He is obviously a legendary violin maestro, music maestro beyond words. So I used to kind of really almost be a devotee of his music. And I used to just, in my own small corner in my house, keep his photograph and just play. I would like to think Eklavya, but I still have my thumb. So I used to play and practice with that. And I don't know what music, that sometimes the universe just conspires and you really want something badly. And randomly, when I went to India at that time, during one of those trips, I had an opportunity to meet him and play those. I mean, whatever I could play at that point of time, just playing on my own, because I just tried to reproduce on the instrument whatever I could sing or whatever I've heard, right? I mean, like I've done to some other instruments. I may not be an expert, but at that. So, and then I had the opportunity to play in front of him, and then he said, "Why don't you come and learn?" So that to me was the point and then I just became a student. And to me, beyond that was music was just being a student, nothing more, nothing less than being in his class. So I used to then live in after I came back to India. Also, I was not in Chennai. He lived in Chennai. So every time I would go to Chennai from Delhi, from wherever I was living at that point of time, I used to make it a point to go. And the first thing, even before I unpacked my bags, would be to call to him and say, "Can I come?" And he would always welcomingly say, "Please come anytime." And he didn't have, I mean, that kind of an unconditional affection and welcoming from him was what I enjoyed. So I didn't have like a monthly ones, weekly ones kind of a thing. I would have it as often as I went to Chennai. And there was also a point of time when I used to travel to Chennai every weekend to go just do the classes and come. So until recently when he's passed away. So yeah, so now I just practice by myself.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing all the details. Yes, I mean, with your devotion towards just playing the instrument and for the love of a violin, as you mentioned that you would keep his photo and play. Yes, you are blessed to be, I mean, learning from
Yes,
him whatever little you have. Wow, wonderful.
absolutely.
And in all this conversation, your humility is really so apparent. And even when I talk offline with you, uh, I mean, I'm always grateful to be in touch with you. The way you speak in your conduct of life, I think I'm saying this because I think a great devotion towards music and a musical lifestyle brings this in people, and you are definitely an example of that. It makes you humble. It makes you, even if you have achieved so much professionally, I mean, at such a young age, being a partner at a, I want to mention this because many people around me that I see, even professionals who are young professionals who are now pursuing music, they come and tell me that it's a busy schedule and all that, and it's hard. Yes, it is hard, but then if you have a genuine love for music, it makes you a different kind of person. It makes you humble, and yet it definitely, uh, you pursue your and you achieve your professional goals. That is there. So yeah, I think that is, to me personally, that is the value of music in life as such. Would you like to add something, any philosophical note at the end of this conversation?
No, absolutely. I think to your point, I think one couldn't ask for more in terms of the presence of music in one's life uh, at any quantum. I think in my case, that's been there in full blow at different points of time in different forms. Like you said, growing up, it was Carnatic classical music where I had an opportunity to observe that, like I said, at close quarters from people who've done the rigor, been there and traversed that kind of a journey. And I think I would also like to, you spoke about my dabbling with music in IIT Kharagpur, but I would like to talk about that because that's probably the time when I actually pursued and spent the most amount of time 24/7. All my professors would know this because I don't know if Sandy is here, I saw his comment. They would all know that I probably did
Yes.
nothing else at KGP. But I would like to talk about that, not because of all that we spoke about or ultimately the outputs. I don't even remember what we performed or what we didn't. But what's most importantly, that's opportunity when I had an opportunity to sit, live, and breathe music and just learn, learn, and learn, and learn, and learn. And Sandy was here. I would like to thank him. And he's one of my mentors, the ones I used to bug, he used to walk around with the keyboard and guitar and teach me. I used to bug him to learn. So the point that I would just like to make is music just makes you much more of a happier person, much more of a
Yes.
richer person, much more of a all that well-rounded, versatile, cool, genius, all of that you mentioned in interviews, all of that hota hai, spike bike. I'm not even going there, but I'm talking much more around personally, ultimately, what you take away from it. Um, and I think that gave me an opportunity also to see, like I told you, I am not an expert in anything in music. I'm a jack of all trades. I can pick up some instrument, except for wind instruments, which I can't. I don't have any capacity, or even I don't know why I'm not oriented that way to sit and play anything and pick up and learn by the ear. If I hear a tune once, I remember it for my life. So those are the things which I enjoyed uh, doing on campus, picking music up, learning from so many people around who are so talented, and then working with other people and having you who, if I don't know if you remember, people used to run away from me, right? I mean, people who could play one small thing on a table, I would be like, oh, chalo, come catch hold of you and let's try
Yeah.
and play. So identifying that spot of music in different people and trying to put that together, just obviously we didn't gain much out of it. The idea is to talk about what uh, you feel about music, and you just want to bring that all together into some meaningful form or shape and feel happy and enriched about it. So I think all of these experiences so far, and you talk about reaching the peak, etc., Reshma, hardly the peak. I take your point on being even more happier and more richer. Music just makes you a richer person. And at a very philosophical level, it's very hard for us. People talk about mindfulness and all of that these days. It's a new cool. I can't sit and keep my
Yeah.
mind still even for a minute. The only time that happens is when one is practicing or playing or singing music, because that's a very easy, chilled out way to just lose oneself, and that's the only way it happens. Neither you keep thinking about the next thing to do. So music, for people who can practice music and can get kind of immersed in that, the easiest way, even philosophically proven, to be the most mindful and have that complete time off in a different zone.
Absolutely. On this note, I must mention, in fact, some of my hidden talents were discovered by you. I was just tapping some drum or something. You said, hey, you come and play. And then I played the congo. You asked me, where did you learn it from? So I know you didn't mean it or whatever. But yes, even I, because it was because of you that even I discovered some music in me. So, like, yeah, that is definitely, and as you said, it makes people happier. And in today's times, when I see a lot of these depressing stories about youngsters doing whatnot, very depressing stories. I think music, everybody should embrace music. It just simply makes you a happier person. And also, since you mentioned Sandila, I got to know Sandila because of you. As simple as that, you brought me to the Insti fire. Actually remember that particular incident. And my friends, my family, they know I have a very poor memory. I don't remember too many facts. They said, "Oh my God, you forgot this." I don't forget that. That incident I remember. Sandida was keeping his keyboard on the in front of that fire, and you said you teach Reshma something. We have to play and all this. Yeah, like the musical environment. It's very enriching when you're there. And yes, even for me, campus life was like a turning point in my musical journey. I got exposure to live Sarod music, and I got a chance to learn from a very learned guru. So yes, just keeping music as a lifestyle choice. And as yeah, finally, as you said, mindfulness. Even I don't know too much about the word as such, but yes, like you said, it helps us calm down. In fact, I know one of my seniors who started learning harmonium lessons just to de-stress. So every day he would come back from office and play with his harmonium, and for an hour he'll practice. Thank you so much, Bharti, for coming on the show. And thanks to Navneet for his patience because I took away his mom for so long. I didn't plan it to be this
Oh,
way.
no, no, no.
I think he must be watching you. Yeah, but yeah, thank you. Thanks to both of you. I'm humbled and I'll stay in touch. So, yeah, happy World Music Day. Thank you, Bharti.
Thanks a lot, Reshma. Thanks for the opportunity. This was fun. And thanks for all those kind comments, people. I hope I've seen it right. I'm not still too savvy with all this. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Happy World Music Day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. We'll see you
Bye.
soon.
Sure, bye.